The wind howled through the desolate field, carrying with it the faint whimpers of two fragile lives. Emma Carter's heart raced as she knelt in the dirt, her breath catching at the sight before her. Two puppies barely clinging to life lay, huddled together in a shallow ditch. Their tiny bodies were emaciated, their fur matted with dirt and blood. Hope and courage, names she would later give them, were more than just abandoned animals. They were a cry for help, in a world that had turned its back. But as Emma reached out to save them, she had no idea the darkness that awaited. The story begins in the small, picturesque town of Willow Creek, known for its tight-knit community and serene landscapes. The protagonist, Emma Carter, is a dedicated animal rescue worker who runs a small shelter on the outskirts of town. Emma is haunted by the recent loss of her beloved dog Max, who passed away after a long battle with illness. Despite her grief, Emma remains committed to saving animals in need. One crisp autumn morning, Emma receives a frantic call from a local farmer who claims to have found two puppies abandoned in a remote field. The farmer describes the puppies as being in terrible condition, barely clinging to life. Emma's heart sinks as she listens, and she immediately springs into action, gathering her rescue team. Emma and her team, consisting of Jake Thompson, a skilled veterinarian, and Mia Rodriguez, a passionate animal care volunteer, rush to the location. The field is vast and desolate, with a chilling wind that seems to carry whispers of despair. As they approach the spot described by the farmer, they find the two puppies huddled together in a shallow ditch, their bodies emaciated and covered in wounds. The sight is horrifying. The puppies, later named Hope and Courage, are barely responsive, their eyes filled with pain and fear. Emma's heart breaks as she gently picks up Hope, feeling the fragile heartbeat beneath her fingers. Jake quickly assesses the situation, his face grim. "They're in critical condition," he says, his voice tight with anger. "We need to get them to the shelter immediately." Back at the shelter, the team works tirelessly to stabilize the puppies. Hope, a small golden-furred pup, has a deep wound on her side, while Courage, a black and white spotted pup, is suffering from severe malnutrition and dehydration. The team administers fluids, cleans their wounds, and wraps them in warm blankets. As the night wears on, Emma sits by their side, whispering words of comfort. She feels a deep connection to the puppies, as if they are a symbol of her own struggle to find hope and courage after Max's death. The shelter is quiet, but the tension is palpable. The puppies' condition is precarious, and every breath they take feels like a miracle. The next morning, Emma is determined to find out who abandoned the puppies and why. She contacts the local authorities and begins an investigation. The team reviews security footage from nearby farms and interviews locals, but the trail is cold. The puppies were left in a remote area, with no witnesses and no clues. As the investigation progresses, Emma begins to notice strange occurrences around the shelter. Mysterious footprints appear outside the windows, and the sound of distant howling echoes through the night. The team brushes it off as their imagination, but the sense of unease grows. Hope and Courage show small signs of improvement, but their recovery is far from certain. Emma spends every moment she can with them, determined to see them through. One night, as she sits with the puppies, she hears a faint scratching at the door. Her heart races as she opens it, only to find a note left on the doorstep. The note is cryptic, written in jagged handwriting. "You shouldn't have taken them. They belong to the darkness." Emma's blood runs cold. The threat is clear, but she refuses to back down. She knows That saving hope and courage is not just about rescuing two puppies, it's about standing up to the cruelty and darkness that threaten to consume them all. The second act delves deeper into the horror elements of the story. The mysterious occurrences around the shelter escalate. The team finds dead animals left on the doorstep, their bodies mutilated in a way that sends chills down their spines. The local authorities are baffled, and the community begins to whisper about a curse. Emma, Jake, and Mia grow increasingly paranoid, but they refuse to give up on hope and courage. The puppy's condition improves slowly, but the threat looms larger with each passing day. Emma begins to suspect that the person responsible for abandoning the puppies is closer than they think. One night, Emma sees a shadowy figure lurking outside the shelter. She confronts the figure, but it disappears into the darkness before she can get a clear look. The encounter leaves her shaken, but more determined than ever to protect the puppies. The team decides to set up surveillance cameras around the shelter, hoping to catch the culprit in the act. The footage reveals glimpses of a hooded figure, but the face remains hidden. The figure seems to be watching the shelter, waiting for the right moment to strike. As the team works to uncover the identity of the threat, they face a series of increasingly dangerous challenges. One night, the shelter is vandalized, and the puppies are nearly taken. Jake sacrifices himself to protect them, sustaining injuries in the process. His bravery strengthens the team's resolve. But the danger is far from over. Emma and Mia discover that the person behind the threats is a local man with a history of animal cruelty. He had been using the puppies in illegal dogfighting rings, and their abandonment was a punishment for losing a fight. The revelation is horrifying, but it also gives the team a clear target. The team devises a plan to confront the man and bring him to justice. They set a trap, using the puppies as bait, but the plan goes awry when the man's associates show up. A fierce confrontation ensues, and the team narrowly escapes with their lives. The puppies are safe, but the battle is far from over. The third act brings the story to its climax. The team, now more determined than ever, works with the authorities to bring the man and his associates to justice. The puppies' hope and courage become symbols of resilience and hope for the community. A final confrontation takes place at the man's hideout, where the team faces off against him and his associates. The battle is intense, with the puppies' lives hanging in the balance. Emma, Jake, and Mia fight with everything they have, driven by their love for the puppies and their commitment to justice. In a final, desperate act, Emma risks her life to save the puppies, confronting the man head-on. Her bravery inspires the team, and they manage to overpower the criminals. The man is arrested, and the puppies are finally safe. The story concludes with the community coming together to support the shelter and the puppies. Hope and courage make a full recovery, becoming beloved members of the community. Emma finds healing and closure, knowing that she has honored Max's memory by saving the puppies. In the final chapter, the puppies are adopted by a loving family, and Emma's shelter becomes a symbol of hope and resilience. The story ends on a note of bittersweet hope, with the understanding that while cruelty exists, so does the power of love and courage to overcome it.